So I have created the get highest in row and get lowest in row method. And basically, it's the same idea as the get total in row. You will have a running minimum, and or in highest rows case, it's running max. Running minimum array have the same amount of elements as the array's row length. So you will go through element one by one, each row one by one. Starting with each row, you will have the first element of that row, and then you do the comparison. If the running minimum is greater than the current element, which you go through row column by column inside the row, if the running minimum is greater than the current value, which means the current value is the true running minimum, then you will set the running minimum into the current value. And eventually, for each row, you will get the running minimum and you return it. Similarly, we have the highest in row, just as the running maximum, we compare to make sure it's less. If it's less than the current value, then we will assign the current value, which is the highest, to the running max, and eventually returning the running max. So these are the highest in row, total in row, and the lowest in row questions. We have similar implementation for get column total, but there is an issue with the column total that we didn't encounter before. It is that, as we said before, a two-dimensional array can be racked, which means each row can have different number of columns. For this reason, we need to have a running max of number of columns first, where we have the array length for each row, for all the rows, and we compare the length of each row with a maximum number of columns until we get the maximum number of columns inside this array of each row. Then we will generate the running total for an element of maximum of columns. Then we will do the loop. Note that in our textbook, when they do the loop, they actually do the columns first. So they will do the int j outside and do the int I, which goes through the rows inside. And here, we are actually doing the same way as we did before, that we go through each row. The only difference here is each time when we add the element, we add the element to the column total. But eventually, the result will be the same. And I will leave the last requirement of this homework, which is creating a main method to validate all these to you.